Welcome all. So today we'll be discussing about power plant economics. It is very much important topic as far as concerned with the power plant operation. This topic will tell you that whether the operation of power plant is economical or not. So in the power plant economics, we'll be discussing about the capital cost of power plant, the cost analysis of a power plant, calculation of most economic power factor, and the energy cost reduction methods. So in this lecture, we will discussing about the capital cost of power plant, and the rest of topic we will discuss in the coming lecture series. So if we talk about the cost of electrical generation, then the total cost of electrical energy generated can be divided into three parts, namely, which are the fixed cost, the semi fixed cost, and the running cost. Now, the cost, the fixed cost, first we will discussing about the fixed cost. The cost, which is independent of maximum demand and unit generated, is termed as fixed cost, right? So the fixed cost does not depend upon the maximum demand and the unit generated. So this cost will be there whether we are whether the plant is in generation mode or not, right? So this fixed cost is due to the annual cost of central organization, interest on the capital cost, salaries of high officials. The annual expenditure on the central organization and the salaries of high officials is fixed. The capital investment on the land is fixed, and hence the amount of interest is also fixed. Right? So the fixed cost is due to the annual cost of central organization. Right? Interest on the capital cost of land, whether plant generate or not. For the construction of the plant, we have to purchase the land, and for this land, we have to invest a capital cost. This capital cost On this capital cost, we have to pay interest. So this is a fixed cost. With the approval of the plant, they are the officials which are there with the plant. Their salaries are fixed, and their salaries does not depend upon the generation because the plant is in erection stage. So their salaries has to be paid, and this comes into the fixed cost. The second cost is semi-fixed cost. Now, the cost, which depends upon the maximum demand but is independent of unit generated, is termed as fixed cost. So, the semi fixed cost does not depend upon unit generation but it depends upon the maximum demand. So, with the help of maximum demand, we can find out the size of generating unit, right? So, this semi fixed cost depends upon the maximum demand but not on the unit generation, right? So the semi fixed cost is directly proportional to the maximum demand on the power station and is on account of annual interest and depreciation on capital investment of building equipment, taxes, salaries of management and clerical staff, right? So the semi fixed cost accounts for the annual interest and depreciation on capital investment of building and equipment. For the building and equipment, we have to make an investment and we have to pay the interest on this investment. So this comes into the semi-fixed cost, and this continuous depreciation of the cost of investment. So this also comes into the semi-fixed cost. Various taxes that has to be paid to the government also comes in semi-fixed cost. The salaries of management, the staffs which are recruited for the operation of plant are comes under the semi fixed cost. Now, the maximum demand, as we already discussed, the maximum demand on the power station determines the size and the cost of installation. The higher the maximum demand, the higher will be the size of generator and the higher will be the cost of installation. The important point here is that the tax and the clerical staff depends upon the size of plant and is directly proportional to the maximum demand. So with the increase in the maximum demand, the taxes will be high and the clerical staff will be more. So the cost will be increased. Now third one is the running cost, right? So the running cost depends upon the number of unit generated is called running cost, right? So the with the running cost, there will be the cost of the fuel, lubricating oil, maintenance, repairs, and salaries of operating staff. So when the plant comes into the action, when the plant is generating the unit, there will be the cost of fuel, whether it will be coal for the thermal power plant, or it is nuclear for the nuclear power plant, or diesel for the diesel power plant. So when the plant start generating electricity, then there will be the cost of fuel, right? Now there will be the cost of lubricating oil to lubricate the parts of generator, auxiliary motors, and various equipment in the power plant. When the plant comes into action, then there will be the maintenance of the plant will be required, and this will add the maintenance cost. If there is some breakdown, then there will be repair cost of that breakdown and the salaries that has to be given to the operating staff. Now, so this all charges depends upon the energy output. The running cost is directly proportional to the number of units generated by the station, right? Higher the generation of unit, the higher will be the running cost, because with the more unit generated, there will be more fuel required to generate the units, and it will increase the running cost. So you can we can say that if the power station generates more unit, it will have higher running cost, and vice versa is also true. So the total cost of the power plant is given by a kilowatt, B kilowatt hour, and C. So it is a sum of A kilowatt hour plus B kilowatt. Sorry, it is a sum of A kilowatt plus B kilowatt hour plus of C. So this A factor depends upon the maximum demand, B factor depends upon unit generated, and C is a constant. C is a fixed cost factor. Now, what is interest? There's a term which is coming continuously in this all three terms, all three cost, and this term is interest. So what is interest? So interest is the difference between the money obtained and the money returned, and may be charged as simple interest or compound interest, right? Now we know that a power station when built, when constructed, invest a huge capital. Now this money is generally borrowed from banks and other financial institution, and the supply company has to pay the annual interest on this amount. Now, while calculating the cost of production of electrical energy, the interest payable on the capital investment must be included. So, if you are getting electricity, then the cost of energy that you are paying has a proportion of interest also. The rate of interest depends upon the market position and the other factors, which is generally lies between 4 to 8% per annum. Now, the other important term is depreciation. What is depreciation? Now, the decrease in the value of power plant equipment and building due to the constant use is known as depreciation. Right? So, if the power plant station equipment were to last forever, then the interest on the capital investment would have been the only charge to be made. Right? Whenever you purchase any vehicle, then on the very first day, in general terms, we said that the cost of the vehicle start reducing. Right? So, this is known as depreciation. Suppose you have purchased anything which is cost to you about around 5,000. After 10 years, will you get 5,000? No, because there is a continuous depreciation in the cost of the purchase that you have made, any vehicles, right? But particularly in case of vehicles, right? So now we know that every power station has a useful life in between 50 to 60 years. Now, when the time at the time when the power station is installed, its equipment deteriorate due to wear and tear. So there will be reduction in the value of equipment or the total value of plant. Now, this reduction in the value of plant every year is known as annual depreciation. Now, after useful life of about 50 to 60 years, the plant has to be replaced by the new one. Now, to construct the new plant, a suitable amount must be kept aside every year so that at the time of replacement of the plant, the collected amount equals the cost of replacement. So, the cost of production for annual depreciation charge must be included. For the cost of production of electricity, the annual depreciation charge must be included. Thank you.